If your life feels like it's falling apart right now, you're not alone. Maybe nothing dramatic happened. No big failure, no rock bottom moment. Just a slow drift. You stopped showing up. You stopped caring. You stopped recognizing yourself. And now you're here, stuck in a version of your life that doesn't feel like yours anymore. But here's the truth. You don't rebuild your life in one big moment. You rebuild it one small step at a time. Most people think change has to be dramatic. A new routine, a full reset, a sudden wave of motivation that fixes everything overnight. But that's a lie. Because real change is quiet, it's slow, and most of the time, it feels like nothing is happening. That's why people stay stuck. They're waiting for a big moment, when the only thing that ever mattered was the next small step. Here's what most people don't realize. You're not lazy. You're not overwhelmed. When life starts piling up, stress, responsibilities, expectations, your brain doesn't always fight back. Sometimes it freezes. You avoid things. You procrastinate. You distract yourself. Not because you don't care, but because everything feels like too much. So instead of doing something, you do nothing. And the longer you stay there, the harder it becomes to move. That's the trap. Not failure, not weakness, just being stuck. There was a point in someone's life, just an average person, where everything felt off. They'd wake up tired, scroll their phone for hours, ignore messages, avoid responsibilities. Every day felt the same. And every night, they'd think, I need to fix my life. But the next day, nothing changed. Until one day, something small happened. They made their bed. That was it. No big plan. No sudden motivation. Just one small action. And honestly, it felt pointless. But later that day, they noticed something. They didn't feel as heavy. So the next day, they did it again. And then maybe one more thing. Not perfectly. Some days they slipped back. Some days they did nothing. But slowly, something started to change. Not their life all at once, but their direction. Most people are stuck in a loop. You tell yourself you'll change. You'll try to do everything at once. You fail. Then you feel worse. So you stop trying. And the cycle repeats. That loop destroys confidence. Because every time you don't follow through, you start believing you can't. But small steps break that loop. Because they're doable. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on action. And every time you follow through, even in a small way, you rebuild trust with yourself. This is where everything changes. You don't need motivation to rebuild your life. You need movement. Small, consistent movement. Because every small step does something powerful. It changes your identity. When you show up, you become someone who shows up. When you finish something small, you become someone who finishes things. And that identity compounds. As James Clear explains, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. And those systems start small. So if you're trying to rebuild your life, don't start with everything. Start with one thing, one small step, something so simple you can't avoid it. Get out of bed when your alarm rings. Drink water first thing in the morning. Go outside for 5 minutes. Clean one small area. That's it. Not perfect, not impressive, just consistent. Because over time, small steps turn into habits. Habits turn into identity, and identity changes everything. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need to feel ready. You don't need to have everything figured out. You just need to take the next step. Even if it feels small, even if it feels pointless, even if no one notices. Because one step leads to another, and another. And one day, you'll look back and realize you didn't just take a step. You rebuilt your entire life. If this spoke to you, and you're ready to start moving forward, subscribe. Because this channel is for people who are done staying stuck and ready to rebuild.